feel like there's this big rush to get to the fall season, but personally, I'm really liking these slow end of summer days, especially when the days are gloomy and stormy like today. And I think long, hot summer days and nights work really well in horror book settings because it gives more depth and plausibility to the story. Here are some summer horror book recommendations. Bacchanal is a perfect example and is one of my favorite books of all time. Most of the story takes place during the day and during a hot summer across the South. It follows Liza, a loner and a bit odd, who is newly hired on a traveling circus. And she has this really unique gift, but little does she know, the secret proprietor of the circus has ulterior and sinister motives for individuals with unique talents. This is an adult fiction and it's a standalone. The next book is Thunderland by Brandon Massey, and Thunderland is another perfect example because it takes place during the summer and right after a terrible storm that nearly unalives the main character Jason, who is on summer break and just wants a normal life with his friends. But he can't because he's having these nightmares about someone coming for him. Then sinister things start happening to him while he's awake, and he always hears the sound of thunder right before something bad happens. This is an adult fiction and a standalone, and it contains some content and trigger warnings. We Are Hunted is one I never see talked about. I really enjoyed it. This book reminds me a lot of the first Jurassic Park mixed with The Island of Dr. Moreau, which really scared me as a child, and I had no business watching that movie. It's about a teen named Femi whose family is invited to stay at this resort on a remote island. It's not open to the public yet, and this resort has super advanced technology and rare species of plants, animals, and insects. So you can probably guess where this is going. Things start to go horribly wrong, and it turns into a survival story real quick. This is YA fiction, but contains some sensitive content. When the Reckoning Comes follows Mira, who is black, and returning to her hometown to attend the wedding of her former best friend, who is white. And this wedding is going to be at this plantation that has been newly renovated into a luxurious resort with all the antebellum fixings. The plantation has always been said to be haunted, but the shiny new renovations can't cover up its dark past, especially when the mostly white wedding guests start to show up. You can see where this is about to go. This is a standalone adult fiction with some content and trigger warnings. The next book is The Creeping of Dogwood House by Eden Royce, and it takes place during a South Carolina summer. If you know, you know. After a tragedy, Roddy, the main character, goes to live with his aunt who recently moved into the creepy Dogwood house, which has been in his family for over 100 years. But the house has been neglected and is in poor condition, and as they start to fix it up, Roddy learns the secrets and dark history of the house, including the reason his mother left it and never returned, and it seemed like whatever was hidden deep within the house has awoken and wants to get to Roddy. This is a standalone middle grade fiction, but it does contain some content and trigger warnings. Honeysuckle and Bone is a Caribbean horror, and this one also doesn't get enough hype. It takes place in Jamaica during the summer and follows Karina, who is a teen who gets a job working for a prestigious black family on an estate that is said to be haunted. Once there, she joins up with a group of staff members and thinks everything is going good until things start happening in her room at night, which makes her believe someone or something knows her secret and is out to get her. This is a young adult standalone fiction, and there may be some sensitive content. We Came to Welcome You is another one that I think is a good summer horror book. I think it takes place in the summer. It definitely gives the vibe. It's about a couple moving into their new home. It mainly follows Soul, who was just put on probation from her job, has family and drinking issues, and from the jump, Soul starts to have paranoia about the house, the neighborhood, and the strict homeowners association. But her paranoia is valid because weird occurrences happen the moment they move in, and strangely the HOA kinda sorta but not really lets Soul know that everything will be okay once the membership contract is signed. This is a standalone adult fiction. Ghost Summer is the perfect title for a summer horror book in my opinion. This is a collection of short fiction stories that take place in a small town in Florida. And when it comes to Tananarive, she is definitely going to give you horror and a little bit more. In this book, we not only get ghosts, but we get werewolves, superhuman abilities, plagues, viruses, and even an apocalypse. All of these stories, in my opinion, can be full-length novels and or movies, in which one of these stories was adapted for screen and featured in the movie Horror Noir on Shudder. This is an adult fiction and contains content warnings. The Summer I Ate the Rich is one that's still on my TBR. I really want to get to this one, but I'm not the biggest fan of mixing horror with food, nor am I a fan of cannibalism. Here's the synopsis. Brielle Pettifor loves to cook, but with a chronically sick mother and bills to pay, becoming a chef isn't exactly a realistic career path. When Brielle's mom suddenly loses her job, Brielle steps in and uses her culinary skills to earn some extra money. The rich families who love her cooking praise her use of unique flavors and textures, which keeps everyone guessing what's in Brielle's dishes. The secret ingredient, human flesh. Let me know if you read it in the comments. Dead Girls Walking is another perfect example for this list. It's about a teen who poses as a camp counselor at an all-black, all-queer horror summer camp. And she's there because somewhere on the campgrounds is her mother's body, which is where her serial unalived father said he buried it. Now she has taken it upon herself to discover where the remains are until girls start turning up unalived in the woods. Now she has to keep herself and other campers safe from something or someone haunting the woods. This is a standalone YA slasher horror fiction with content warnings. Hide and Seeker is one I talk about a lot, but it's another perfect example of a summer horror book because it takes our favorite summer childhood game and turns it into something absolutely terrifying. At a welcome home party for the return of his missing friend, Justin and some neighborhood kids decide to play a game of hide and seek, but it goes terribly wrong and one by one kids start disappearing. This is a middle grade fiction, and I think it's a standalone, but there is another book said to have taken place in the same universe called The Nightmare King. And there is some triggering content in Hide and Seeker. Hollow Tongue is another book by Eden Royce, and this could be considered a summer horror book. I would say it gives late spring, early summer vibes. It's about a woman in South Carolina who returns to her childhood home to help her parents handle some of their affairs. But when she arrives, no one is home and no one is answering her phone. So she decides to wait it out at the home but starts to experience the same haunting she did when she lived there as a child. This is a short, standalone adult fiction with some sensitive content. This is how I've been tracking my reads this year. I don't use Goodreads or Fable or Storygraph or anything. This year I started out with some really strong reads. I got into Attica Locke and all of her books were 5 stars for me. Another 5-star was Chain Gang All Stars. I don't know why I didn't mark that one yet. And one of the really bangers for me was On Sunday She Picked Flowers. That was an amazing read. And then this story, This Is Not a Ghost Story by A. Marie was another amazing read. Hollow Tongue by Eden Royce, we just talked about that one. That was an amazing read. But this the one right here. That's 10 stars. My only 10-star read this year so far. Some more solid reads on this page. The Library of the Dead is a really good series. I was kind of disappointed with Psychopop and Circumstance. That was one I was really looking forward to. And King of Ashes was kind of disappointing to me as well. Don't judge me. It just really didn't hit like I thought it would hit after reading all of his other books. But it was a solid read, just wasn't that good to me. Here, we got some solid reads. I'm not going to talk about that 1-star book. That was, But American Ghoul was another really good one. I don't know why I gave it 4.5 stars though. Also, El Penelope came with the Obsidian Curse, which was really, really good. She always writes really good Black romantasy. And we don't talk about Carol. It's definitely not talked about enough. That was a really good thriller book. And on to some of my more recent reads. The Last Dreamwalker was really good. But yeah, The Birth of a Dynasty is an excellent epic fantasy book. I was really surprised at that one, and I cannot wait for book two. And also, Burn Down, Rise Up by Vincent Torrado. I really enjoyed the lore and the horror background of that book. It was actually a really good read. And also, book three of the TJ Young and Diaries series, which was over 700 pages, but it was really, really good and a really good way to end the trilogy.